Welcome to today's episode of 10minsPaper, where we unravel the fascinating findings of a recent study that throws light on a pressing issue: the undeniable impact of wealth inequality on environmental sustainability. In a world grappling with environmental, social, and humanitarian crises, a startling reality emerges: the costs of economic inequality are no longer affordable, and the rich are a burden we can ill afford. Between 2020 and 2022, the world's wealthiest 1% captured nearly twice as much of the new global wealth as the remaining 99% combined. In 2019, they emitted as much carbon dioxide as the poorest 2/3 of humanity. This staggering concentration of wealth and environmental impact demands our attention. The societal costs of inequality. Social epidemiologists Richard Wilkinson and Kate Pickett present a compelling case against inequality. Their research shows that large income gaps are powerful social stressors, rendering societies dysfunctional. Higher rates of homicide, imprisonment, infant mortality, obesity, drug abuse, and even COVID-19 deaths correlate with greater income disparities. Even affluent individuals would benefit from a more equal society, with improved mental health, reduced violence, and better educational outcomes for their children. The financial burden on governments is immense. Estimates suggest that the UK alone could save over $126 billion annually by reducing inequalities to the level of the 5 most equal OECD countries. This saving considers just 4 areas: improved health, better mental well-being, reduced homicide rates, and lower imprisonment rates. The environmental imperative. Tackling inequality is not just a social issue, it's an environmental necessity. Greater equality will curb unhealthy and excessive consumption while fostering the solidarity and cohesion needed to adapt to climate and other emergencies. The rich's disproportionate carbon footprint and consumption patterns exacerbate environmental degradation. Wilkinson and Pickett found a strong correlation between equality and environmental performance across developed countries. More equal societies tend to prioritize environmental protection over economic growth, perform better on the Global Peace Index, and contribute more to foreign aid. The psychosocial drivers. The authors delve into the psychosocial reasons behind inequality's far-reaching impacts. Accentuated differences in status and social class fuel feelings of superiority and inferiority, undermining self-worth and confidence. Chronic stress, driven by worries about how others perceive us, has well-documented effects on mortality and health-related behaviors. Violence and bullying are also linked to the competition for social status, with aggression often triggered by disrespect and humiliation. Inequality breeds consumerism, as people strive to emulate the well-publicized lifestyles of the rich, fueling cascades of expenditure on status goods. Policy implications. To address these crises, the authors call for swift action from policymakers to reverse rising inequality and curb the highest incomes. Progressive taxation, closing tax havens and loopholes, and exploring consumption taxes are proposed as potential solutions. Legislation and incentives are needed to ensure large companies operate more fairly, promoting practices like employee ownership, representation on boards, and capping CEO-to-worker pay ratios. The Mondragon group of Spanish cooperatives, with a maximum 9-to-1 pay ratio, serves as a successful model. Conclusion? Reducing economic inequality is not a panacea, but it is central to solving health, social, and environmental problems. Greater equality confers societal benefits, regardless of how it is achieved. Countries adopting multifaceted approaches will make the most significant strides towards sustainability and well-being. The world can no longer afford the costs of inequality or the excesses of the rich. It's time to prioritize equality for a sustainable future. Thank you for joining us on 10minsPaper. The link of the paper is given in the video description. Stay curious, stay informed, and let's make the change together.